Hi, this is Don Kedal with another Israel Report, and today I'm reporting to you from the capital of Israel, Jerusalem, the beautiful city. And right here in the background is the Israeli Knesset. It's our main place where all the decision makers are, the government sits. And today I want to talk about one of the greatest injustices that are happening right now in our land, and that is that the people of Ammon are being expelled from their homes, while today the United Nations is making a vote, a resolution, another resolution against Israel. No surprise there, declaring and forbidding from the Israeli government, from Israelis, okay, of forbidding us from building anywhere in Judea and Samaria or in what they call East Jerusalem. Now let me just explain some facts about this incredibly biased and incredibly anti-Semitic resolution. The United Nations, this is what you need to understand, is not a righteous body. Today, the United Nations is not what it was founded upon, and it's not the same nations that founded it. The nations today that are the dominant nations of the United Nations are Muslim dominant nations, Islamic nations, A. B. Communist nations. Yes, that's right. Communist and Islamic nations are the ones who have created a voting bloc within the United Nations, and therefore that is why you have anti-Semitic resolution after anti-Semitic resolution. Number one, because of Muslim Arab nations that hate the Jewish and only state within the Middle East. Number two, because of communist nations that really don't care. So that's just to break down the United Nations as is today. This is why the United Nations, in fact, think about this, in an era where we are facing terrorism all over the world, globally, in Asia, in Europe, in the United States, in the Middle East, everywhere you have terrorism. And guess what? The United Nations does not have, get this, a definition for terrorism. Why is that? Well, because you have, like I said, a voting bloc within the United Nations who obviously are not going to want to condemn terrorism because they are terrorist nations. In other words, they support terrorism themselves. So of course they're not going to make a definition. Of course not. Why would they? I don't expect them to. What we need to do is we need to condemn the United Nations because the United Nations represents the nations of the world, and because an organization like the United Nations that has disproved itself time and time again needs to be dismantled, it needs to be done away with, and if they want to create another body instead of, sure. Here's the problem. Israel, unfortunately, gives itself over to the approval of the United Nations and the approval of the EU and the approval of the United States. That's our problem. The nation of Israel has not changed in over 3,000 years. We keep looking for the approval of others, and this is to our demise. This is to our downfall. Right now is going to be the celebration of Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the feast of dedication. It's the feast where it's a celebration that we commemorate the victory of the Maccabees over the Greco empire that tried to destroy us and tried to really do what the United Nations is doing. And here's something interesting, and this is why I think this is important for us to remember what's happened in history so that we know what we need to do today. We, as a nation of Israel, need to boycott all those who are trying to come against us. We need to resist, and if we need to go to war with them. Just like the Maccabees did. It has to be, if you will, a holy war of throwing off the foreign bodies and entities that want to control us and say, no, we are a Jewish nation, we're a Jewish state, and we're going to continue to govern ourselves as so. We don't need your approval. What happened at the time of the Maccabees? The same thing. The Hasmonean family stood up and said, no, we're not going to give ourselves over to the control of foreigners who are actually trying to destroy us. That's what Israel's doing today. Politically, we're trying to win the favor of the empires of the day. We try to win the approval of others, and this, my friends, is not going to last. what will last till today. And I am here as a standing testimony of the faithfulness of God to the people of Israel when we stand up and say no. When we stand up and say we are not going to let those who are trying to destroy us to continue and do so. We will resist, we will stand up, we will fight on behalf of God, on behalf of truth, on behalf of what is right and what is good in this world. And by doing so, we had over 200 years of freedom from every foreign entity that tried to control us. That is why we're celebrating Hanukkah today. So this is Don Kedal reporting to you from Jerusalem. Thank you for listening. Happy Hanukkah and Shalom.